Fuck the intro. Let's go. Who the fuck is this guy? I thought it may have been the same Ganondorf, but no, the entire Tears of the Kingdom story just sent that out of the window. And where is the goddamn timeline? We might as well pretend that it never existed, because goddamn, Nintendo doesn't seem to care at all. There's so many things and so many plot holes and just stuff that doesn't work together. What is this? Okay, I need to calm down. We might be able to salvage this after all. Okay, let's look at what we've got. So according to the lore of this game, Ganondorf was born right before the foundation of Hyrule, which means he was around before the Ocarina of Time Ganondorf, which creates some discrepancies somewhat, because we thought that was the first Ganondorf. Okay, I got that out of the way. Cool. This is originally an idea held by a friend of mine, which I originally was against because I have my own ideas on it, but over time I've warmed up to the idea she had. So if we take a look at the timeline and scour around for the foundation of Hyrule, we find it right beneath Skyward Sword and right before the Minish Cap, which would then be when the memories are taking place. Which, of course, solves where the memories are taking place, but there's still the discrepancy of where the fuck the Soul fits into all of this and how Hyrule actually was founded, which I think we don't have any answers to right now, but we may have in the future. Oh god, this timeline is so confusing now. I'm also fully aware that this ignores that there can only be one Ganondorf at a time, and that the Hylians look so fucking different from what they do in the Minish Cap. To make this all fit together, we were just gonna retcon everything and try to make this somehow fit into everything. I don't know how, but I gotta try. Okay, first thing first. The Sky Islands you see in Skyward Sword and the Sky Islands in Tears of the Kingdom are not the same. They are different. They are very different. Since in Tears of the Kingdom there's a lot more Sky Islands than there ever were in Skyward Sword, so they can't possibly belong to the same chain. Which also removes the possibility of Tears of the Kingdom taking place before Skyward Sword, which also was debunked by Anuma a few years ago when he said it was obviously taking place, Breath of the Wild was obviously taking place at the end of the timeline it was taking place in. I said taking place there a lot. So, in which timeline does Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild take place in then? Well, there are three main timelines, but I think both you and I know by this point that the only real solution to make this work together is the unified timeline theory, where basically the opposite of what happened in Ocarina of Time happened, where the timelines, instead of splitting apart, unified again and made the timeline once again whole, like it was in Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time. Sprinkle in some eventuality theory in there, now we can explain a lot of the monsters and races that appear in the game that would not be able to appear there otherwise due to some timeline discrepancies we see in the Child, Adulthood, and Downfall timeline. But now they do, since we assume they naturally evolved in this new unified timeline. And lastly, these games take place at least 10,000 years in the future from where the timeline unified again. Most likely more, since Sheikah evolved a lot of technology and built a lot of cool machines like the Guardians and Divine Beast. So yeah, most likely a lot more than 10,000 years, but you know, that's all we have to go with, so that's all I can say. And that's it. I think now we have a semi-well put together idea of how Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild fits in together into the convoluted Zelda timeline. I know there's a lot of things I skipped over, like how no one found Ganondorf, even though he was beneath Hyrule Castle for countless millennia, and where the Soul Knight technology went after they died, and how they only were rediscovered now. How the Sky Islands were hidden for so many years, and so much more, but I made this video in 3 hours, and now my brain is hurting a lot, and I wanna take a break, so that's all you're gonna get from me, and now I'm gonna go play more Tears of the Kingdom. Bye.